Hello and welcome to Fiona's Creative Canvas. Today we're going to be stepping outside the comfort zone a bit and I'm going to do a mixed media project. I'm always at the art supply store looking at items and thinking, oh, that'd be really cool. And I come home with all these bits and bobs and yeah, they end up in the back of the cupboard. So I'll show you all the different things I've got. I'm going to be trying to do a collage. I haven't actually done any collage work before, I don't think. Maybe kindy, I don't know. Let's have a look at what we've got. So I've got this paper pad and it's got all these lovely different papers in it. I love the neutral tone of it. So that's going to be used a lot. This is going to be kind of my inspiration. So these came in a pack of 30. And I picked out the blue ones because I want this to be sort of a blue and neutral colour palette. And the way they've laid these out, I just thought is a good example of, I guess, how you go about doing this kind of thing. What else have I got? I've got just a label with some string that I thought could be a nice texture. I've got some Mandalay stencils that maybe I could try and do something with that. I've got these scrap pieces of material. I was going to do some blinds and they sent me some samples and I thought this could actually look quite good and give a bit of texture and warmth. Warmth because of the texture, I think. I've got some blank paper that I thought I would try and make my own paper with using paint, and maybe I've got some corks that I could like stamp some dots, maybe make some dotted paper or something like that. A bit of tissue paper. This here was in the bottom of my cupboard. I think I was going to do some scrapbooking once upon a time, but I never really got around to it. So this is a brown and it's kind of a textured paper. What else have I got? Grabbed a bunch of pens and textures. And I'm going to use Mod Podge to stick everything down. Yeah, so I guess the first thing I want to do is make those painted pieces of paper. Okay, so the paper I've got out here is just plain printer paper. I do have like a book of artist paper, but it's really thick card, so I don't want to use that for this. So we'll see how it goes. It might get a bit bumpy when it's wet, but hopefully we can stick it back down flat. I want to start with some blues. I've got a bit of fluid paint here. This is, I think, Prussian blue. And I've got some Prussian phthalo blue here. So let's mix those in together. I love the brush marks actually. I have to keep that in mind. But yeah, you can see it's buckling. So I'm not sure this is going to work. Let's try stamping some white onto it. Some dots. Oh! Not as easy as it looks. Interesting. And nothing has to be perfect with this, which is great. Just wanted to use up some bits and pieces I've got lying around. And I thought it would be really good for me to try something different and get some new skills. So I had thought about, you know, when I bought that big book, like putting a bit into an art. But what I'm planning to do here is basically the whole piece of art is going to be a collage. Let's finish off this row. I'm not really sure what I think of this at the moment. But you know, it's going to be ripped up or whatever anyway. So that's the plan. Alright, I'm going to put that one aside. And then this one, so this is another blue. That's some leftover. Let's put that down. I've still got some dark blue left in there, so that's probably going to blend in. I might grab a little bit of this white as well. Different colour. And what I'm going to do with this one is I thought I would use one of these cups. Maybe I might go the small one, and I'm going to stamp circles, so rings. So let's try that. Nice. Let's stagger this one. Okay. I'm going to do one more, so I've got options. Maybe we can put some stripes on this one. Actually, one thing I had thought of doing was getting this brush out and doing that little sort of drag thing loosely on the end. Maybe we can make it sort of branch like. Okay, not sure about that one, but we're just playing around, learning stuff. So what paper am I going to choose? That one. Ah, perfect. Okay, so I picked out some papers out of my book. This one I could cut out individual pieces or just rip it up. I think this one's going to be I'm going to use quite a lot of that. And this one I chose because for this I thought explore and discover are good. That's what I'm doing, is I'm exploring and discovering. So, but let's start cutting out some of this stuff. So I'm just going to cut like little bits and pieces out. Maybe we have some extra numbers somewhere. But I definitely want the word discover and the word explore. I like these notes off the top here. I thought this piece will match this piece nicely. I have them on different ones. Alright, I might cut more out of this one yet. And I'm going to cut the numbers off the top here. I've also got these I can cut up as well. But let's get started with applying some stuff on here. I think what I'll do is I'll have this up in the corner. Do I want to tear it or do I want to cut it? I think I'm going to cut this one. I will tear some at some point. And then we'll put this bit down in this corner. Are these dry? Nope. Really want to put them on as well, underneath I think. So this is still wet, but I'm going to cut this side off. Let me cut it off here. What else have I got? Brown paper. I'm just trying to get the canvas covered. Okay, I think I'm ready to glue this down, the start of it. Put down some Mod Podge. So this is a matte one. And I knew it was still wet, so it's going to be hard to press down if it's still wet. So you're all learning as I go. Hopefully. You can see lumps. I don't know whether using this will help. We might end up getting some smearing, but if I go in one direction, that'll be okay. Alright, let's try it. Just to get those air bubbles out. Didn't quite work. What does it just add to the texture? I don't know. You know what? I reckon this one would actually look good with a torn edge. Something like that. All right, and then let's put this one down. Okay, start with that. All right, putting a little bit of glue over the top just to get that to stick down, especially on the corners. We don't want it lifting. All right, got my big words as well. Explore and discover. I think that can go up there. Let's stick that one there. So I think I might glue the back of this one. Any of you that have done this collage before, I'm quite happy to hear any tips that you have for doing this. So I've got bubbles underneath, I think. I'll put this one on as well. Got more numbers, and I want to get some of this on. So I think you can just paint the glue over the top because it dries clear. We want a flower on this side. Maybe a butterfly. Got some music. Got a couple of stamps. Might put the stamps on. This is a champagne gold. I'm not sure how dark it's going to appear over. I think it'll be fairly light. Let's have a look. That's a little bit of a shimmer. What's this colour like? I feel like I want that maybe mixed with some Van Dyke brown. Don't like my lumps in my paint, in my paper, but I'm working more on composition and things like that. Champagne gold. I'm not sure this was the right colour, but I think champagne gold's helping. What do we want to do with this? I'm actually not sure I want to use that. Still got more of this that I could use, but I'm not sure about that either. Let's just keep sticking stuff down, I think. I did have some tissue paper. Oh, I've got this as well. Can't forget about all these other things that I've got. I actually like the jagged edge. I think we're going to keep that. Nice bit of texture. butterfly might look good on this one. I feel like this one's busier. I also feel like I'm going to need to let this glue dry and then add some paint if I want. So I haven't used this at all. I'm not sure that I will. I don't think it suits this style. I've got a bit of this. I'm not sure if this is going to go either. Let's try a little piece just here. It sort of has a little bit of appeal, but I'm not sure. There's more dark brown on that one. Should I bring a bit in here? Alright, so I think I'm going to let this dry. We do have some puckering and stuff, so that's something I've got to learn, but it was more about composition. I'm going to come over probably with a bit of black or dark grey or something, but I have to wait for it to dry. Yeah, let's let that dry and then I'll bring you back. Okay, it's the next day and this is nice and dry. I want to do a little bit of painting the brush and a little bit of marking. I've been looking at some different ways of doing the marking with my different markers. I've also got this Payne's Grey ink. I'm trying to work out what the best colour is going to be. But first, I'm just going to do a little bit of brushwork here because I don't like this straight line. I am going to use this dry brush because I want to see if I can get some strokes. Like that. Not sure about that. I don't think I like it, which means I'm going to need to cover it. Like that. There we go. Something doesn't feel right. So it did patch it up. Maybe I'll have to do the marking through there, I think. I don't know. Something needs to go through there. Maybe off on an angle like that. Going to do some marking now. And which colour? I'm not sure about the grey. I can actually wipe that off because I've glued there. It's just not the right colour for this. It's quite contrasty. Once I go over this, there's no going back. You know what I think I will do? Let's pat that. Take a bit off so that it's not so bold. Yeah, it's kind of more like a stamp. That's better. And get a clean one. Now, I don't want to rub because I'll smudge it. So just pressing down. Cool. Okay, here is the final result. And I've got them staggered like this because that's the way my nails are on my wall, but I'd probably have them side by side or one on top of each other. I'll show you what I did with the marking. Hopefully you can see that I lifted some of that black off so that it's kind of a little patchy and not so stark black. And can you see the shine from the champagne gold as well? A little bit of a glimmer. Oh, got a shadow going over there. I wasn't a fan of these sharp lines, so that's something to take note of in the future. Also with my paper, I think I would need something else, something a bit thicker maybe to make my own paper. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I think they go quite well together. You could actually hang them individually if you wanted. Let me know which one you prefer, the one on the left or the one on the right. I will probably have a go using the Mandalay stencil and a little bit of collage in my next video. I think that's the plan, and painting as well, so mixing it up a little bit. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye.